Telecoms giant BT is to shed up to 15,000 jobs, many of them in the UK, after reporting an annual loss of more than £130 million. The company, which employs around 150,000 people, has already cut around 15,000 jobs in the past year. BT says it's hoping to avoid compulsory redundancies. Our business reporter John Moylan reports.
In the midst of a recession, you expect companies to cut back. But today the UK's biggest telecoms firm is slashing jobs, and it's all down to self-inflicted wounds.
Obviously a bad day for BT. It's not often you see a loss of this magnitude at a company such as this, and essentially the whole company's been dragged down by poor performance at one division.
For just the second time in its history, BT is today reporting a loss. It's been hit by huge problems in its international division, where costs simply spiralled out of control. Today the company is outlining how it's going to put that right, and it's going to have huge implications for staff. BT's fortunes have taken a dive in the past 12 months. A year ago it reported profits of almost £2 billion, but problems at its global services division have turned that into a £134 million loss. The company responded by cutting 15,000 jobs. 15,000 more will go by March next year.
We have to recognise that we have to reduce the costs, and that's what we've done, and we're going to have to carry on doing that next year. But we will try and do it in a way that protects our permanent employees wherever we can.
In global services especially, which has caused a big problem for the company this year, that's the area where the mismanagement was. It's not the current management to be blamed for that, to be fair, it's the management of the past.
BT is also dealing with a huge hole in its pension fund, the legacy of a workforce that hit $250,000 at the time of its privatisation in the 80s. So it's almost doubling its payments into the fund, which means there's less cash to pay out to shareholders. Paul Lambard bought BT shares when it floated in 1984. He says it's been a rocky ride.
They progressed rather well. In fact, one period of time I remember they went up 12, 13, 14 pounds. And since that high, unfortunately I've sold a few, they've only decreased. And meanwhile, you've lost out on the shares. You can't really sell them because what you get is peanuts.
BT hopes that today's radical action will help it emerge from the recession even stronger, but that's little comfort for the thousands of staff whose jobs are now on the line. John Moylan, BBC News.
I'm joined